What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Gears Esports Pro League. I'm Colin the Crow Clark, trying to get a cord to unwind from in front of me and put it back behind my shoulder while Jacob MVPR looks oh so good just sitting there and doing the absolute greatest stuff on the planet of Earth. You know, sometimes, look, you can dress us up, but you can't take us nowhere. I'll tell you that much. You can dress us up, but a pig is still a pig, baby. Underneath all that nonsense, we still here. We still the same human beings. But we gonna be here for some knights versus some cheese, some beautiful lions going up against what looks like a face mask with a little scar on one eye. That what you say it is?
No, that's the Stinky Cheese Man. Remember the book a long time ago? This is Stinky Cheese Man 2.0. This is 2.0. This is the evolved version. I don't know if anybody's gonna even get that reference. I feel so old right now, but that's exactly what it is. Colin, come back to me. Come on, give me some life. I mean, he broke me earlier. He deserves it.
I can't get up. I'm too old and too fat.
Somebody, life alert! I've fallen and I can't get up. Somebody hit the button.
Y'all think this is a joke? I'm gonna break my green screen doing this. Come on, baby. Come on.
Oh God, this man. Just when I think casting with Colin can't get any better, it always does. I love you, Colin, man.
I know I messed up this time. I can't, yo. I had to push that green screen out the way. I got down there and I said, "How am I gonna get out of this?"
Got trapped.
Take us to the PK roster. Take us over there. Yo, Raver, Dezonide, Monkyz, and Fearzly have been four of the most consistent players in all of Gears Esports for quite some time, falling just short of back-to-back appearances in the possible grand finals in our last major, but they are looking to be just as good with Fearzly as they were with Chaos a few splits ago, and they want to try to start that march yet again here in this split. And they got to go up against a pretty gamey team, Queso team, Jacob.
Yeah, they definitely do. And honestly, this roster is, especially the core, we know how great they actually are, right? We know how good they can be in a lot of situations. I think one of the biggest things that plagues this roster is they wear their heart on a sleeve. Honestly, yeah. I feel like they just wear it too far down their sleeves, that the Pioneers and a lot of these other rosters just come up and just knock that heart to the ground.
They are very momentum-based, very energy-based. We've been there when they've been able to feed off crowds, the likes of Dezonide, being able to feed off of a crowd in Mexico City, match in and match out, go from what seemed to be like losers bracket round 2 to all of a sudden they're fighting for a chance for a grand finals appearance just to get there. So you know that they can ride the wave. You know that they can get high as all get the hell out, but sometimes it feels like they just fly a little too close to the sun and their wings melt, and next thing you know, they're crashing and burning back to earth. They've got to find a way to level that out. You cannot blow your charge early enough in these series to not be able to have the comeback if it's necessary.
Yeah, honestly, you got to be able to control your destiny, not let up off the gas. And honestly, one of the biggest things you cannot control, or you have to be under control of your emotions. I would say they just can't control them right now. And that's why things happen the way that they do.
Well, let's see what they can do up against this Team Queso squad that we have witnessed time in and time again try to win the hearts and minds of oh so many people all across the world. Problems, Cristalize, and Jaled playing alongside their substitute, Nero, tonight. So he will be there alongside of Jaled, Cristalize, and Problems. What do you think they're going to be like with Nero in the lineup?
Honestly, I have no idea, because Sleeafer was such a defining force, not only in game, but out of game as well. And I say out of game very, very loosely because he was just that IGL. He was the voice. He was the one kind of, along with Cristalize, being that leadership that these young guns can look for. Now Nero has to come in, replace not only that power weapon style of play that Sleeafer brought to the team, but the experience, which isn't going to be an easy task.
Let's see what I think the biggest thing that this Team Queso squad has to be concerned with going up against the Pittsburgh Knights is really the talent differential. And I don't mean that to insult the guys on Team Queso. It's just when you think about the best team in Latin America, you always kind of lean toward the Pittsburgh Knights. Even when they were having their struggles, they stayed in that level of conversation. And they took a lot of the LATAM teams to task last Pro League and during the major. They just big brothered everybody. The guy looking to try to stop being that little brother, stop being picked on by these Pittsburgh Knights, is our player to watch tonight from Team Queso. It's going to be the one, the only, the problem, ladies and gentlemen, the enigma that the Pittsburgh Knights have to figure out, because you can see while the KDA and the kill differential might be waning outside of the top 10, that damage per 10 minutes has gotten him inside of the top 10, which means he's always outputting. He's always giving himself or a teammate the best possible shot to get a kill.
And every single time he finds that comfortability within the rounds, within his roster, he's always exactly what his name says. He's a problem to the enemy roster. So for Team Queso, honestly, it's going to be a big task, because you're going up against this team, like you mentioned, probably one of the best in the history of Latin America. So you have to be able to kind of shut down all that noise towards the outside. You know you're going up against the Titans, but you have to figure out a way mentally to make them seem like everybody else, which, like I said, it's no easy task, man. You're going to have players like Raver, like Monkyz, that are going to get so aggressive, they're not going to let you forget their name.
Without a doubt. I mean, they're playing up into you at all times. And one of the things I want to shout out that I think was very impressive, and I'm pretty sure if we could have been in the comms, we would have heard it time and time again. During that show match a few weeks ago, we were trying to figure out who had the edge, and Latin America ended up having the edge very succinctly. And a lot of it was on the back, in my opinion, of having Dezonide on that roster. They bring Dezonide into that roster, and even though it played like a pickup in the first matchup where LATAM very much played into the grill, into the face of USA, and that's what ended up being their demise, Dezonide had these boys rotating, setting up, lancering out, snubbing out, because you could basically see where players would start to push, and then with Dezonide alive, either in or toward the hill, you'd see the player roll back, take the right spot, and I said, my God, he's been one of the best IGLs on the planet for forever now. Like, he's going to end up in that conversation of some of the greatest to ever do it, to ever make shot calls for his squad. The only thing lacking from his resume at this point is that championship. So it's also hard to just denote him out as somebody else in your mind. It's hard to look across that screen at times and say, my God, I'm getting pushed by 4 of the best players literally walking and breathing on planet Earth. And to find out where they're going to be walking and breathing, we got to see our map bans, ladies and gentlemen. Where do they not want to play the Pittsburgh Knights on? Where do they want to go elsewhere? I'm taking a look here. Control on Regency and Reactor are out, so that tells me we're probably going to see, we're seeing a Ritual District lineup on Control, if you ask me. Canals and a Fear Execution off the board. Check out Clocktower coming in hot and heavy, and then Vasgar. I'm calling it right now. That's my so call out.
What is it? Ritual? What is the other one?
Ritual District, Clocktower, Checkout, and Vasgar. Hit me with the picks. Hit me with the picks.
Not in order by
Ritual.
We got 1-1.
Check
2-2.
Vasgar.
Colin.
Clocktower. Oh no, come on.
No.
Is it Clocktower? Yeah. All right, we're 4 for 5. Ain't that bad?
That's a good guess.
That ain't bad. That ain't bad.
No, we're not all hot air.
Hey, yo.
Maybe Dangle, but not that far down.
I'm gonna tell you this, Jacob. They only pick Speyer because you know, Demise ain't there right now. Demise ain't the coach right now. My man stepped back from being the coach of the Knights. He would have had our back. He would have picked every map we said had he been there. I'm calling.
And it just honestly,
Charles, help me out.
Did Team Queso ban away the Regency control?
No,
I know
it wasn't banned.
It wasn't banned away? Okay, I was about to say, if they banned away Regency control, it was. I told Colin if they did ban away. The reason why I don't necessarily like the Regency control ban and then you leave Speyer open is because it plays so close together. You have your wide corners. You can lock them down. You got the kind of high ground meeting up towards the middle. The power weapons are very, very similarly laid out. Not exactly the same, but they're similarly laid out. So that's why I don't like to waste a ban on Regency, because then they can just pick Speyer exactly like that. And then they're playing a very, very similar map. As long as their timing is there for Speyer and don't use the Regency timing, I think the Pittsburgh Knights are going to be pretty well on that map.
Well, we've talked about, how good the Knights are. We've talked about what Team Queso has to do to overcome them. So it has come time for our predictions. And Jacob, you know what? I'm just going to put it out there. I am picking the Pine. I mean, wait, I can't just pick them every match. I told you I was going to pick them on it anyway. It's the Knights, baby. It's the Knights. It's the Knights.
Almost threw me off for a second. Like, it's been one crazy day with you. I'm like, wait a minute, Colin.
They're playing back to back. They're going back to back.
Hey, I wouldn't be opposed to seeing it the way they've been playing, but honestly, Colin, it's kind of hard to bet against you, especially since Nero's in it. It's no dig onto Nero. It's just he's replacing Sleeafer. Sleeafer is such a driving force for this Team Queso squad. Even though I still think with Nero in, they can win a map and steal it away from the Pittsburgh Knights, they're going to take it 3-0, 3-1, at worst 3-2, but I have every single ounce, every fiber of my being. You can bet your channel points on them, or I'll give you extra channel points back that the Knights are going to win this match.
You know why Nero is famous in ancient Roman culture, right?
Why? I thought you said Nero from the Matrix, but go ahead.
No. Nero is from, Rome. He's from Roman culture, Italian culture. And Nero is famous because he played his violin while he watched Rome burn. The difference being is that he's going to hope the Pittsburgh Knights are burning, and it's really just going to be an incendiary grenade that's about to, just collapse on his forehead. Just he's going to be playing his violin, trying to help his teammates out. Next thing you know, incendiary grenade. Just
Maps loaded. What did chat pick? I mean, I kind of know.
No,
they ain't dumb.
Be quiet. Be quiet. They picked the Knights. Be quiet. Go somewhere with that. Go somewhere with that. You're grounded. You're grounded. Tell Ruth to make you something to eat. All right, we getting into map 1. We're getting into map 1 now. Jacob might not be back. He might be back, but one way or the other, I've done it solo before. I do it dolo again. Come on now. We going into Ritual, ladies and gentlemen. It's a hard-hitting, fast-fighting map all over this thing because we start out at the altar with a torque bow to be fought over there, and then, of course, in the middle of the map, you do have that extra set of grenades to pick up and possibly use to go against your opponents. Whoever comes away with this initial play also tries to overload the opposite side of the map, or if you are on that spawn already, you just try to roll back, play in toward point number 2. We will see, though, as everybody rolls out of spawn, we're going to be on the backside of the Pittsburgh Knights. Raver here first to the fight. Will load out the snub, looking for several players to try to roll up into the backside of the fight. Won't have anybody challenge him just yet. Damage onto Problems. Keeping Problems out of the fight momentarily. Fearzly will get stunned out by that first flashbang. Now a second one coming in. 2 players from the Knights at this middle cover. Have to go in for the team revives very quickly. Dezonide will get revived out. 4v4 over here. Nero is tagged up. Has to back up. Looks like the Knights are trying to take over the backside of the altar. They get one down. Now a second. Can't trade out the kills just yet. It'll be up to maybe Raver and Dezo to get 1 or 2 more. Now Monkyz all by himself will get killed out. Fearzly, last man alive for the Pittsburgh Knights. One more shot by Jaled gets the kill. Team Queso, they'll come away with the initial.
Yeah, not only that, but to get Cristalize, who takes down Dezonide, all the power weapons on the map. Cristalize has to just figure out a way to continue to stay alive. Frag grenade over the top. Dezonide continues to drop. Raver is going to go down as well. Monkyz did a good job of getting that down onto Cristalize, but he was unable to solidify the elimination. So a fantastic initial victory for Team Queso. And if you're a team like Team Queso playing with a sub, you got to get as many points to start off the game as humanly possible, because Pittsburgh Knights, you know they have the potential to come back at any moment.
Looking for the next rotation here is the Pittsburgh Knights, already playing toward point number 2. They don't really want those trash seconds, those last 10 to 15. They're going to play defense here at point number 2. Nero playing off the backside of the map now. Will bounce in to that pillar. And I think Dezo's trying to hide and wait in the wings. Gets the one shot down there. Unsure if anybody else is pulling up to the fight. Cristalize may possibly get a sneak kill right here. Back A on the first. Second goes to the second. Won't be able to get it. Problems will go down third. So 3 players quickly down and out for Team Queso, but the close respawn will come through for Queso. So the Knights will have to play defense here toward the spawn.
Yeah, Fearzly was in a 1v1, but it was like a stalemated 1v1 where both of those players were just waiting for their team to either win or lose the battle. And as soon as everybody got to backtrack on the side of Knights, he did the same thing, trying to reunite with their teammates before they make this push outward. Great frag over the top. Not going to connect, but it's going to buy real estate, positioning to allow Raver to try to disrupt the fight across the map. Dezonide, Monkyz are going to be the 2 players that are actually in the fight, and they're going to solidify, not letting that damage go to waste. So we're going to go back on board this side of the map to where Team Queso, they can't get aggressive here. They don't have the personnel, and if they do, it's going to end just like that with Raver getting that first one on to Jaled. Nero is doing what he can to stay alive, but the numbers game is just too much. It's so insurmountable. It's so hard to come back from.
Insurmountable right now when you see what Fearzly, what he can do here as he bounces around. Can't get that second shot on. 20 seconds left, trying to make it 70 to 30. Maybe collect these last few points, but there it is. The Pittsburgh Knights over-rotate back into the hill. We'll be able to at least maybe tie this one up as they push across the middle of the map. I like Nero's positioning. He looked forward from the altar and was calling out everybody rotating across. First flashbang out, will get the stun, but he's going to get restunned. Secondary flash comes in. First shot gets a kill, but he goes down to Fearzly and will be left to bleed out and think about his actions.
makes it to where they have a few seconds of separation. They steal over that spawn point, but you can see Dezonide, he's stuck there. He's getting flanked as well, so he needs to continue to converge with the rest of his team. Otherwise, it might be too late. Monkyz doing a good job backing these players down. Dezonide and Monkyz, the 1-2 punch. They get both of those eliminations onto Jaled and Cristalize, and you can already see the players are still pushed up, so this could be a moment if they take too much damage. Pittsburgh Knights could continue to get offensive and clean up the rest of those eliminations, but they took too long. They spotted the rest of the players spawning up, so now it's all defense for the Knights.
Raver playing to the backside of the map now, looking forward toward Cristalize. Won't be able to get that first shot on, gets him tagged up a little bit, and the Knights have officially taken the lead here in this map, 76 and counting forward. Nero will get shot on as he tries to rotate to the front side of the hill. Dezo is holding down the front line of defense, but Raver will go down to the 2v1, and Fearzly has to rotate off now because it looks like Team Queso went for the initial point of interest, which is the close respawn, and will send Cristalize that direction, but that's a very awkward spawn for the Pittsburgh Knights to have gotten. But it's the only spawn they could have gotten on this hill, so, I mean, I guess that works out, baby.
I mean, it works out for them. You know, they're going to take it and try to run with it in stride, but they're going to run as far as they can until Nero makes a play onto Raver and Monkyz. The 2-star players are going to go down and out, but there's not enough time left to make it kind of worth it. They're only going to set one player back to get the scraps. Everybody else is going to traverse outward, but they're going to be met with the Pittsburgh Knights offense. Raver doing what he can to back down Jaled, but he's met his match. Flank coming through. Raver gets flanked as well. A double flank with Dezonide now stuck out of position. It's going to cost both Raver and Dezonide their lives. The glass half full type thing, though, is Monkyz, the star on his own, does have those frags to go to work with.
Pushing forward, Cristalize with the torque bow in hand, revving up, shot over the top. Won't be able to find anybody now. Looking for somebody to pick off as the Knights are once again in the hill first. And will be able to play some defense here inside of the hill. Cristalize with the flashbang in hand, looking to the backside. I like the extra damage being put out by both players, especially holding down the mid lane. Nades come out as well as the torque bow, looking for a shot over the top. Won't be able to get that first one to go. Doesn't even get damage, but he is pretty safe there as he was neutralizing the hill out and was able to lancer out for his teammates if necessary, snub out for his teammates, excuse me, but he's going to go and lose 2 teammates. Now maybe loses a third. And I love that from Raver. He saw the opening and continued to pressure forward. He gets 2 kills. The second one on an up A to disrupt the defense, or the defensive stance by Team Queso, and it allows the Knights to still continuing to mount up this lead.
Say Jaled doing a good job on the other side of the map for a moment. Got one onto Raver, and stealing that spawn and flipping the spawns in general is going to be a big opportunity for Team Queso, especially as this hill dwindles down when it comes to time. But Fearzly is being sneaky. Makes me wonder if the player to watch spotted him out. No, he doesn't. It's going to cost him. Fearzly makes a sneaky play onto Problem. Changes socks right before his very eyes.
Nicely, Fearzly full red, stays onto that cover. Won't be able to get one more shot on. Dezo plays to the backside of the spawn, gets another kill there. And I love, it's pretty much to me, normally I hate watching players get left behind, not getting cleaned up. But I really enjoyed how tactically sound the Knights have been with that, where nobody is, it's a guaranteed kill. Nobody's in the area. They call out the respawn, so they know that nobody's going to be there for the pickup. Big shot there by Jaled, getting that first kill, bouncing up, trying to get into that position to the backside of that hill. Fearzly has to rotate in now. 2 shots to the down, rotates up and gets 1 kill, but is immediately traded out. Pittsburgh Knights will lose the initial placement on this hill over to Team Queso.
Great job from Team Queso. This is the moment right here when a team reaches around 150 to where you have to close that gap as much as possible. You don't want them to not only be the first team to reach that 200-point mark, but have a 100+ lead in that process as Nero getting stuck, backed up into a corner while full red. The second grenade's going to connect, finishes off Fearzly, triple kill for Nero, and at that perfect moment as well, because they're going to be able to bleed this hill dry, Colin, and get themselves within a throw's distance from that lead.
They're just so very close. 20 seconds left. They'll make it a 30-point differential in that lead capacity. Knights are going to set up here toward the close respawn of that next hill, of the next point. Dezonide, first one to defense. He has the torque bow on his back, snub in hand. Shots out toward Nero. Now tagging up toward Cristalize. Ain't able to find one yet. Not able to find it down just yet. 2 bolts left. The pick here is pretty important as it helps solidify the initial play on this hill. Dezonide will see that he gets the pick there with the torque bow, and it's going to be up to Cristalize to maybe play back toward that last hill. Lucky enough for the Team Queso fans and team Nobody being on the hill, the neutralized hill actually makes it tick down slower, 1.5 seconds per every moment. Now that the hill is finally spawned on the opposite side, they are in the position to get their lead a little bit more substantial here.
Like Cristalize is doing all of this, I want to say by himself for the most part. Nero is there, but it's only a shell of the help that he needed. Finally, we see him kind of picking up one in the elimination feed, make it 2 as he takes out Dezonide as well. And the spot that he took was an impactful spot to get those eliminations and the spawn point, because you see his teammates in the mini-map spawning up on that side of the map, 2 on the other side. They have the sandwich. They just got to play their cards right. Hopefully they don't get too greedy, and Problems and Cristalize will go down. They overstep. The timing is just off. Nero once again continue on with his streak. He got 2, he got 3 a couple of rounds before. Can he get 4 and 5 here? No, he cannot. PK doing just enough to shut him down, and they will indeed be the first team to eclipse that 200-point mark.
Pushing into the next position as Fearzly will have the new torque bow shot all the way across at Problems. Won't be able to find that one. 20 seconds to go here at this last point. You can continue to see Cristalize getting tagged up. That torque bow splash damage helping finish off that down. But once again, Fearzly is hanging out here because of the fact that the next hill is here at the altar. So while it seems like Team Queso is continuing to butt their head against that hill, well, that's why we might have had a disconnect. Maybe.
Maybe. Let's see who moves. I'm trying to see who moves on 6.
Player 6 is not moving Nero.
Come on. You're supposed to be the sub. I think it's my time, Colin. You might have to get some solo action.
I mean, you know, I'll be here. I'll do it. I'll do my best.
I'm just trying to figure out. Obviously, we're going to be waiting for words from admins, kind of figure out what exactly went wrong, because we do see all kind of 8 people walking around, so we'll give you guys an update as close as possible. But with how this match has been going so far, Colin, you see Pittsburgh Knights, they're always one step ahead. Team Queso always fighting on that back foot, and you see multiple moments. I know Cristalize for one, they're just playing too much like solos. That might go ahead and work out for you and have you some shines of greatness against Abuelos y sus Nietos, but this is the Pittsburgh Knights, the #1 team in Latin America. Those same side of half-witted plays is not going to work here.
Still nobody on the hill, so something's fishy. Something's not right.
What a better way to come back. I love this man's face. Can you make me a mouse pad with your face, actually?
Have my nose holes be the
How many people in chat want to call him mouse pad?
You're gonna get 0 responses on that. It's gonna be like,
I'm just waiting. I'm gonna go ahead and type in chat.
My forehead is big enough. It would be kind of a good mouse pad. I mean, like you especially if you're one of those like flick mouse players. Like right now, I could see it. Goalie getting downs with the charge rifle with my forehead as the flick, man. Come on now, bam.
360 no scopes off Colin's forehead.
Yeah.
But honestly, we're really trying to get back into the match as soon as possible. Kind of figure out what went wrong. But Colin, after Team Queso kind of hitting and missing a few times in the matchup, we kind of left it at down about 100, not exact, obviously. What do you think Team Queso needs to do to kind of at least gain momentum, pull themselves back into it? Or do you think the Pittsburgh Knights are just playing too strong and too together?
Wolfpack a little bit more. The 2 times that we saw them do a good job of either getting the hill or taking a hill back was through their Wolfpack. 3 players going down the same hallway, 3 players shooting for the same target. Of course, also want that last player, that 4th player, kind of watching the side angle, the 90-degree, whatever it may be, to be able to get those kills. I think that's what they got to do. They got to go back into that end of the lab and really figure out exactly when we get back into this game. They've got to figure out what the Knights have done, which is thus far keep them pretty separated. Team Queso really hasn't taken that many fights as a unit. Every time they do, they seem to either have some form of success or are completely successful. Whereas the rest of the time, we see a pick here, a pick there. You see these staggered deaths, and that's what the Knights want. The Knights know that they can take a definitive advantage there, not just in the numbers situation, but if you keep them spread out, most of these guys are going to win their 1v1s. Raver, incredible 1v1 player. Monkyz, incredible 1v1 player. Dezonide, incredible one. Like there's Fearzly, incredible one. Like none of those guys lack in that department. Of course, none of them as good as Effexi's right now because he is your current reigning defending 1v1 champion. Thanks. Shout out Astro Battle one time. I mean, you can't deny it at this point. Man, he's got a chip. You don't want him to have it, but take it from him.
Honestly, that's kind of hard, and you can kind of see it. You talked about the two Slayers, Ravers and Monkyz. You talked about Dezonide, and honestly, I'm still. And this is anything bad because he's still playing amazing. I'm waiting for Fearzly to kind of fit a little bit more comfortably here in this game because he's kind of changing the tides every now and again. But once he go ahead and finds his 100% comfortability, I think we're going to see a different look Fearzly than what we've seen so far, which is honestly a little bit of a scary sight.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, to give you a little update on what's going on is the fact that we had a little bit of a technical difficulty inside of the game, and once we get the lobby remade, you're going to stalemate that round out. All you're going to do is once you pull it back, you reset the lobby, and then you're just going to be able to play to that whatever points you needed left. I think it's going to probably be in the area of like a 120, 130, maybe to like 180 or something along them lines. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not that quick at math. I never have been. I never will be. But we're right back into it as we rolled back off a respawn. It looks like the Pittsburgh Knights need 106. All right, so I was about 18 off of one, and I was spot on with the other. I was quick, Jacob. Give me the credit.
You got quick math. They call him Colin Quick Maths Clark. Yeah. Oh my God. So already just 100 points needed left over from the Pittsburgh Knights. Another one initial here, but that's a train around because Team Queso, they won the last initial. So already things not going as smooth as they would hope onto this one as the information being relayed, players being spotted out. Dezonide revving up the torque bow, unable to find the connection. But the thing is, he still has the ability to intimidate, to threaten players, especially since they're so spread out.
And what they can do here is it looks like the Pittsburgh Knights need 1 or 2 more kills to get this solidified hill. 1 kill here on the problems. He's going to get shot on by 3 different players, and there's the down, there's the out. 20 more points will cut it down to about 50 to 60 needed. You can see them start pushing toward this respawn here, and Nero is the first line of defense. Shots on, not going to get anything there, and Cristalize, he has to help out his teammates, but I mean, the team revives are just going to have to be constant because you are getting blistered.
Nero got revived. He just stood there. Oh, you guys saved me? My bad. I didn't even know. So now the last one left is going to be problems all by himself to make short work of him. So 45-1 off of that first hill. Almost half the time is going to be accumulated by the Pittsburgh Knights in order to win. That score is going to be 106. So this hill is definitely winnable. Team Queso not only needs to go ahead and break through this hill, but hold on to multiple hills in the process.
So here we go with 65-1, needing, 39 points left. Continuing to put pressure here. Monkyz with another kill, up over 70 now. Team Queso have not been able to fight into this hill. They've gotten 1 second in this matchup. They've gotten 1 second on this reset here. And down to just 26 points now and counting down. Every single second it takes by makes it that much closer to defeat. Map 1 sliding in. Cristalize with it taken out by Raver. Raver takes up the pillar, needs to be able to get a second shot on, but Monkyz comes in. He says, let me get a 2-piece, baby. I'll take a leg and a thigh any day.
Right there, that kind of solidifies it because you're going to need a miracle. You're going to need individual pushes to be successful. Cristalize, pre-damage, spotted out. Raver over the top, trying to deny entry. Even if Raver goes down, look at the team that he's buying for his squad right now. And there it goes. The Pittsburgh Knights will take map number 1 away from Team Queso. Even after that replay, left them without a single elimination on the replay, Colin. Talking about asserting your dominance as one of the teams here to beat this season.
What a fantastic map number 1 by the Pittsburgh Knights. They have taken the 1-0 lead. And they did not give up anything, which way, form, or fashion on that revive chain that was attempted by the side of Team Queso. And now we move into execution. Look, I kind of want to focus up right here, right now on that, because at the end of the day, Pittsburgh Knights, to me, they did everything right when it counted. And I mean, we saw them dominate P2, P3. They stumbled a little bit P4. The reset comes through after P5, so that you see them literally dominate 4 out of the 6 hills. Every rotation. We reset after the technical issue, and then they dominate P1 and P2 again. They just absolutely smoked out their opponents. So I think you just have to flush that map 1 if you're Team K. So you got to move into the execution quick.
Especially after the replay, because you can see Pittsburgh Knights, they were pushing P. They were pushing perfection. Like I said, not a single elim off of that replay. And I feel like that in itself is more devastating than the actual loss of the overall match. You don't go into a replay without a single kill throughout 2 different hills. I don't know about you, Colin, but that's something that I feel like a young roster, like, you know, not a whole roster, but like Jaled and Problems, I feel like that's something that can really plant that seed of doubt and sprout the tree before spring.
I think it's one of those things that those guys, I think they'll get frustrated more than have doubt. And you know how it feels, Jacob, when you feel like you're putting in your best effort, but you're not getting the output or the help from those around you, whether it be the revives playing up with you, Lancer Fire. Trust me, I've been on the receiving end of some of those conversations, so I know you know what I mean by this. I think Jaled and Problems probably have a little bit more frustration over, hey guys, how do you expect me to get every kill possible if nobody is shooting for me, if nobody's playing up with me, if I seem to be getting into positions and hills quicker than the rest of you, and then I'm absolutely getting shot on and taken out.
Yeah, but I will say, coming in and kind of hopefully Team Queso could forget map number 1 ever happened. Like I said, there's just so many things that I feel like can deflate a player mentally, not necessarily, you know, in the game, but it can be deflating mentally, like you said, trying everything you have, always coming up short. But Checkout is one of those game modes that you could easily get aggressive and you can catch your opponent off guard. Team Queso has to figure out what their strategy is, maybe sending 4 players over, try to go get a bull rush, take out anybody towards the plat side. They can try to go wide towards Sniper. Without Sleeafer, though, that makes me question if that's going to be a viable strategy for them. But honestly, it's anybody's guess.
You're going to have to play up onto that platform. As deadly as Raver can be, as great as those guys can play around him, with Dezo threatening the Sniper at all given times, you cannot give up that side of the map but so easily. So Team Queso is going to have to play into the strength of the Pittsburgh Knights offense. It's whether or not they can miss time or keep their flash grenades off-timed enough to be able to get stuns there at that platform, maybe get kills. Because if you're trying to steal something from Checkout, if you're trying to steal something from the Knights, they're going to treat you just like the owner of the Checkout. Looters will be shot, and anybody trying to go up against them on that platform probably will be too.
That's kind of the thing. You got to fight that fire with fire, and unfortunately, causes somebody to get burnt in the end. This time around, it's going to be Team Queso as the cheese continues to melt. Pittsburgh Knights have a problem with basically trapped to right. He doesn't want to get humped. He doesn't want to get teabagged. He doesn't want to get executed. He said, let's just move on to the next round. I'll burn myself alive.
First round in the bag already. Pittsburgh Knights come away with a 1-0 lead, and I really do believe the definitive change in that fight was how quickly the Knights were to rotate in front of that mid lane, in front of that position, because even though they lose that platform fight early, they lose that first player there, they rotate down to the checkout lane so quickly that it's almost impossible for anybody to get back against him. Raver's going to be stunned out yet again, taken down. Knights trying to go for the same rotation, and this time the side of Queso is ready for it. They back off, play defensively, get the kills needed, and tie it up 1-1.
They kind of like took a page out of something you said earlier in a different matchup. It's just the way they're chaining together the flashes to make sure they're stunned, which allows Nero to kind of get that extra second and get the first blood overall. That teamwork is something that I feel like it takes so much practice. You can't even 3-2-1 that, Colin, because it was that perfect.
No retreat. No,
you gotta be. That's just practice bravado there, and you know that they come away with it feeling good because it's coming through for their squad. Flashes back up onto the platform. Nero up there first, hand in front of his face. He's gonna go down as well as Cristalize. Back A onto Problem. Secondary shot with Monkyz will land. Now an up A gets one, and Miro will go down and be taken out. Pittsburgh Knights take it right back. The lead comes through for them, 2-1.
Gotta do here for Team Queso. You're gonna lose some rounds here, especially when you're going against the Pittsburgh Knights. You just have to be able to continue to pick yourself up, dust yourself up, because honestly, in life in general, Colin, it's not about how many times you fail. It's about how many times you pick yourself back up and keep on going.
smoke out!
Pushing into the platform yet again. See what we can do here as Nero is still stunned out, and Raver walks right up to him, walk it to him for the kill. Problem's all by himself, looking for the help, gets the second shot for the down, but cannot stay alive. for another shot on. Gets taken down and out. Pittsburgh Knights go up 3-1, and they are starting to roll. They're starting to feel themselves. It's like they have figured out the wrinkle in Team Queso's defense, Jacob.
Yeah, I think it's going to be time to maybe try to put a player out towards the wide side, Lancer out as much as possible. And knowing against the Pittsburgh Knights, they are going to make a play for the sniper. Just try to get some down, buy some time for the frag grenades to rotate on over, and that's going to be your game-defining play. But Team Queso, they're not switched it up. They want to go ahead and fight fire with fire like we've been saying.
Flashes out. Raver's going to be tagged up, bounces around, tries to get away with his life for now, but he sees the first down come through, can't find the shot through the middle. All stacked up, and now Fearzly goes down, followed by Raver, and Monkyz Dezonide by himself in the situation. Back A out by Problems. He picks up a 3-piece, gets the kills, and comes away with a big round for Team Queso. 3-2 now.
Honestly, not really switching up the strategy too much. It's those micro adjustments to where you're taking an extra step left instead of right. You're allowing Problems to kind of up A around instead of hopping in like Nero has been doing so far. And this is where you expect to switch up yet again. It's the micro adjustments that matter most, but in this case, it's going to be the overall strat change up. They're sending Cristalize to go out wide and grab those frag grenades that I spoke about last round.
Throwing frag.
Frag grenade over the top, trying to stop those pickups on the long shot. Won't find anybody there. 4v4 on the map. Dezo with the long shot, and he's Dezo with the drumstick. He's very deadly with it in his hands as well, and he will push up to the top of the platform, looking for a shot there onto one player. Won't be able to connect with that one, and now the team of Team Queso, I believe, might be split out here, but I don't know if they know how split they are.
Nah, as soon as I think the Pittsburgh Knights, as soon as they figure out these players are split up as soon as they are, they're going to try and go for Problems, who's sitting under that window. And Problems' help is going to be Jaled, so it's going to be up to Dezonide with that pinpoint accuracy as you see everybody backtracking towards the plat. Exactly. They see him so far out of reach. The body shot's going to be landed. Monkyz, Raver are continuing to go. They see it as a green light. They don't know that player's there waiting in the wings, but it doesn't matter because they find the elimination onto Problems regardless, and they see this as an opportunity to keep the numbers advantage in their favor. Jaled trap deep in the spawn, crystallized across the map, and they know one is in between.
Looking for the first rotation here. You see the body shot attempted by Dezonide. Won't find anybody. Looking for another one there, but finds the headshot that time, and now knows that it's only a matter of time. One player left. Jaled bouncing around as best he can. Still alive. Head fire over the top. Blinding over the top. Finds him with a shotty to the body. Big chunk out. 4-2. Knights 2 rounds away from a 2-0 lead.
4-2. Talking about just rounds away from that 2-0 lead. It's going to be up to Team Queso. And a lot of these teams, man, like I talk about, it's going to be hard when you're missing one of your best players in Sleeafer. It's not so much what he does in-game, like I said. It's how he IGLs, how he puts the troops and makes sure everybody is where he needs them to be. So go back to that original strat. But Raver goes unstunned, takes out Nero First Blood. Problems falls shortly after. Cristalize is doing what he can with a big elimination onto Raver, but sooner or later, it all comes crashing down with a 1v2 here. Cristalize with some early damage onto one. He's getting back down. Dezonide trying to clean it up, but he has no choice but to back down himself. But the numbers game angles are just too much for Cristalize to overcome. Pittsburgh Knights 5-2. Such a commanding lead. And is there anything you have to say for Team Queso to try to will them back into this, Colin?
You're going to have to start like you did. You're going to have to be able to get those stuns and those kills off of stuns. Your utility work in the first couple of rounds was fantastic. You guys know you have the ability to throw for one another and be able to get the kills necessary. You've just got to get back into those angles again. You've got to give yourself those opportunities because the last few rounds that the Knights have won, you've thrown out your stuns, but they have been to no avail. They have not helped anybody out.
Raver again uncontested towards those incendiary grenades. Instead of getting the elimination, he gets him, tries to get out alive, but he immediately goes down. Fearzly's gonna fall. Nero gets taken out, but it's a greater sacrifice. Team Queso win their 3rd round overall, but still a huge mountain to climb. Even though it's only 3 rounds, this gets the Pittsburgh Knights.
Yeah, the Pittsburgh Knights need to try to solidify this next round. They don't want to give too many away to Queso. Queso, a very dangerous team and have been for quite some time. Coming into the next round here, coming off of spawn, will be very important as we know how important those initials really are for a team's success, especially on checkout. Round number 9 here. Both teams coming toward that mid-platform fight. About to push up. That'll be Nero first on. He's going to be stunned out, though. And that'll be Raver walking it to him. 3 for Raver. One more hits the floor. And the Pittsburgh Knights will win map number 2 and take a 2-0 commanding lead over Team Queso. They are looking to dominate the competition like they have thus far in the split. Will they be able to finish it off on Escalation? The only way you and everybody else are going to be able to find out is if you come back after this quick commercial break. Will it be 3-0? Will it be 2-1? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gears Esports Pro League day number 2. We are in the midst of our third and final matchup here on the main broadcast of the night. It is the Pittsburgh Knights versus Team Queso. And Team Queso right now getting shredded like the cheese they are by the Knights. They look like they've been hungry and ain't not one of them got anything bad to say about the Gruyere on the bun.
Honestly, they're looking like omelette du fromage, just an egg right now in terms of maps, and then just cheese that don't look good. That's like the green eggs and ham at that. And honestly, I ate green eggs and ham growing up. Just like Pittsburgh Knights are eating this roster tooth and nail, and they're not giving them a chance. Raver went in that last round and looked like Thanos, snapping player by player out of existence.
I was a green egg and a ham as a child, so you know I kind of have the same issue. Having to come away with some pretty interesting situations, like guys like named Sam that want nothing to do with me. Because I am green eggs and ham. It's just weird. It's a weird plight to have. And Team Queso also have a pretty weird plight. They got to find a way to beat the Pittsburgh Knights down 2-0 going into Vasgar, which is, I mean, that's just tough. That's never a position anybody wants to be in.
No, it's definitely not. And honestly, Team Queso, it could start here. Vasgar, it's a map that you can kind of begin to steamroll and get things going, your momentum, but it has to start very, very early. If you have one of those long rounds in round number 1, that's not how you build momentum. Even if you win it at the end of the day, it's going to be a hard one, but I think it's very, very possible to start the comeback campaign. Will it end here in the series with a comeback? I don't know, because Speyer is going to be even harder, but Vasgar is definitely an opportunity that I think Team Queso could run away with.
You've got to take your opportunities where they may. You can create a little confusion, a little chaos, and that's the thing that, the Pittsburgh Knights have been able to stay away from against Team Queso is the confusion, is the chaos, because in both control and in execution, they were pretty much able to put the fight in front of them and control how Queso was able to rotate around the map, and that is the thing that has come back to bite them as Team Queso goes down 2-0 in this matchup to the Knights. The Knights looking to just finish this off right here. All they got to do, in my opinion, is just stick to their game plan. Find team fights together and not give up any easy opportunities over to Team Queso to get extra kills early.
Yeah, I need to see the same thing out of the Knights that I wanted to see out of Rise, that I wanted to see out of the Pioneers. It doesn't matter if you're playing against the next best team in the league or the worst team. You have to play with 100% will to win, just like this is a grand finals. And the reason why I'm always saying stuff like that is why would you kind of mess with your food? You see it all the time, Colin. There's no mistaking that. But the reason why you want to do it is so we can create that muscle memory, create that chemistry, create the timing for your team when it comes to success, and then adapting and also consistently doing what works for them. So coming into this next Vasgar, if something is continuously working for the Pittsburgh Knights, I can see them doing that strat over and over again until Team Queso makes them change it up.
And I also think, I look at it this way. You talk about the muscle memory, winning these matchups against teams like Queso. I look at it the same way, and from the standpoint of baseball, you can always tell the guy that's never hit a home run versus the guy that's hit 400 home runs. You got to act like you've been there. If you're the Knights, take care of your business right here, right now. Don't give up any maps over to Team Queso. Make sure you continue to assert your dominance night in and night out, round in and round out against these teams that you should beat. Theoretically, you're the favorite coming into this, and I know a lot of people hate to look at it that way, but when you're the favorite in any way, shape, form, or fashion, and you should win a game, why would you ever come close to losing it? You know what I'm saying? Like I just don't understand that mentality.
Unless, obviously, the only kind of excuse, and I'm doing kind of air quotes because there's no real excuse at the end of the day, but as if your opponent is just overperforming. They show up, they knock it out of the park, and they really kind of outplayed you. We kind of see it all the time. There's a difference between kind of losing, making mistakes on your own, and then being able to outplay your opponent. Right now, map number 2, check out, you can kind of see it, Pittsburgh Knights, they had all the answers. They just simply outplayed Team Queso. Now it's their turn. The phone is ringing. Can they answer the call?
We'll find out if they can answer the call here on Vasgar, one of the most beautiful maps Gears has ever had in its sights, set in the beautiful Vasgar region. It is glassed, though, as the Hammer of Dawn strikes decimated the area, which makes that beautiful black glass in the middle of this map Of course, you can still see some signs of foliage in the gardens, the red sand all over the place. Vasgar actually used to be beachfront property, Jacob, but after all the destruction and terror rained down by all of the bombs that were dropped here during the UIR Civil War, and the Hammer of Dawn, of course, finishing the job, all you see left is this desolate waste in front of you. And we start off here at the tank fight. Going over to the opposite side toward the second half neutral hill. Shot over the top by Nero, trying to rotate around and get that second shot on. Won't be able to get it. And now getting back into that hill, won't be able to get any shots on, will go down. You can see Monkyz moving up, and once again, the team fire from the Knights. Very impressive early in this one.
Yeah, it was kind of Dezonide making the call. Even though Monkyz did die, it was just to go ahead and get the elimination and the man advantage in their favor as they're overtaking the home hill. Fearzly, a big 1v1 against Cristalize. He's already getting the decap. Cristalize with the work cut out for him. He has to win this, and Fearzly comes out on top. Jaled off a respawn, tried to make the rotation, so it's all up to Problems, our player to watch. Can he get the decap? That flash, unable to get the stun onto Raver, but he sees that second player, so he has no choice. The smart play to try to back up and live to tell the tale.
That's exactly what he does here. You see him back off, he lancers out. Now they've got 2 players probably pushing over to B. It's going to be 3 players from the side of Team Queso to possibly play some offense. Meanwhile, opposite side of the map, it's 2v1 toward the C hill. See the players from the Pittsburgh Knights backing up. They might be able to play for some downs here, maybe some downs and damage. And already on the opposite side of the map, the Knights have won their fight and will take the home-to-home advantage here. They're going to be more than happy to switch out hills and continue to keep their 2-1 advantage.
Especially if they're very, very quick on the other side of the map. You know how the Pittsburgh Knights is. I feel like it's them, or at least the core of this roster, that has always been that tip of the spear, but Monkyz waiting in the wings, catches Problems slipping, and that was that distraction. You saw a lot of the shots going down from Raver. They're trying to take a 2v1 on the other side of the map. Jaled makes a massive shot on both Dezonide and Fearzly, unable to get both of them, though. That's going to be Dezonide living tall with still 2 hills underneath their control, but this is where you see Team Queso, the shift, multiple members trying to get their home hill back, but they can't stop there because 200 points have been eclipsed by the Pittsburgh Knights, so they need a triple neutralization.
You can see the Knights already pushing over to B. They've got the neutralization there, making life that much harder on the side of Team Queso. Now Team Queso will have to push into this hill, and this is going to be a very tough outing for them because this hill is hard enough to push with multiple players, but it's harder to push when they know you got to go in for neutralizations. You know you got to get into the A hill. All you got to do is back out and Lancer out. When in doubt, Lancer out, put the damage, make your opponent a little bit nervous here, and that's what they've done. They've successfully defended enough hills for long enough to win this round number 1 and be 4 rounds away from victory over Team Queso.
Start quick, end quick. That's the Pittsburgh Knights. They just like to get in and get out. And this is the play right here. Dezonide had that guy so weak that he was probably calling him out. He was probably screaming that he is the target. You saw Monkyz go in, get multiple downs, even though he went and got eliminated. That's exactly what you want in a teammate. Somebody that's willing to sacrifice their life for the greater good, the better play of the overall team.
And the replays all night tonight have been in the favor of the Pittsburgh Knight, it feels like. We have seen so many Knights replays in this matchup. They are dominating it as well. Up 2 maps and now 1 round in the map number 3. Boltox placed by both teams. And again, I really do believe, and I talked about it during the major, one of my favorite plans that the Knights have executed lately is leaving those retros out longer than normal, which has given them an advantage in multiple defensive stands. And we'll see if they do that later on in this matchup, as now we have the B fight yet again breaking out early in another 1v1. Nero won't get stunned. First shot in. Gonna return fire with his own flashbang. No stun on the side of Dezo either. Big important 1v1 here for both teams and both players. 3v3 on the opposite side of the map about to break out.
Ooh, and it's going to break out indeed. Cristalize is going to start it off. We get that one on to Raver. Dezonide wins his 1v1, but he goes down. He's at the very minimum going to get the decap. Everything after is going to be bonus, and that's going to be a big bonus because his team lost the map. If he didn't get this decap and capture while down, that would be a triple cap domination with Team Queso tying us up at 1 round apiece. Is he going to get the inches short?
Trying to get back into that fight. You see the Dom there for the attempted revive goes down, and that'll be Raver being lancered up. Now Monkyz trying to return fire on to 1 player inside of the B hill. It'll be a triple cap domination being threatened. Monkyz tries to bounce down. He goes down. Triple cap domination ticks on through. Queso tie it up 1-1.
just a big round by Queso there. And even after Dezonide was able to kind of prolong it, going down, almost getting revived, he had their game plan set in stone. They kept it step by step, and they didn't get over aggressive or kind of ahead of themselves in that round. So that's going to be a big victory for Team Queso. But I don't think that's enough to kind of stop any momentum on the night. So we just kind of go again.
Yeah, we're going to have to go again. Retros should be out for both squads. Both teams upgrading their Boltox here. Don't make me a liar. Thank you. Just upgrade it and move on. Rolling out of spawn. Both teams winning from the arrival spawn, Jacob, and I believe that's kind of been the MO for teams for a couple of splits now. The arrival spawn, the strong spawn.
Does this surprise you at all? Like, the way the strategy is, they're time and time again, they're sending 3 players over the top. They want that home hill to home hill stretch, and they're really trusting both Cristalize and Dezonide in their 1v1s.
You have to have that kind of faith in your teammates, so it's not surprising that they leave people in the 1v1. The thing that always shocks me is that we haven't seen a difference of opinion. We haven't seen a secondary play from either team to try to change things up. That's the only thing that surprises me about it. I like the base strategy. I like that they're doing it over and over again to get work on it, to get practice on it, but I do not like that neither team has taken the advantage to try to change up something.
I'm breathing it in right now. Still kind of 3 there. Big flank opportunity. Matter if he spotted out, and he is. Cristalize, he has to backtrack. But Monkyz, he has to go ahead and backtrack as well. That allows Fearzly to get eliminated. And the biggest thing here is Raver not only staying alive, but getting another elimination. This one's going to be knotted up. 2 players alive for both of these teams. But Monkyz, he's stretched across by himself. His teammates will be there a lot quicker. So what TQ does here is very, very important. And it's going to be impactful for the rest of this game, because now they're stuck 2 players over versus 3 across the map.
Now looking for the next rotation in. Monkyz will go down, but the revive is there from Raver. Beautiful job shutting down those 2 players. And 1 quick second, Dezo goes down at the B hill, trading out home hill for B hill. But it looks like Team Queso very quick to the punch. They're going to rotate at least a 3rd player over here. They get the neutralization, and they know they got to play defense sooner rather than later. They can't leave themselves out in the hill to go down. Double flashes get thrown out. Monkyz with the retro in hand. Big damage out, gets 1 down. Snub out, gets a 2nd. Tries to go to that wide angle, but is yet to be able to pick up a kill. Dezo dies yet again in the home-to-home stretch, which leaves Cristalize the chance to overextend to the A hill.
Great shot to go wide, trying to alleviate that pressure. Back-to-back back A's on the left hand. Fearzly gets 2. Monkyz gets another one. Cristalize, though, because of that 1v1 you pointed out against Dezonide, they're not down. They're not out just yet, but he's definitely going to go down here, and the hill is going to go back on over to the Pittsburgh Knights. In fact, all of the hills are until 3 players from Team Queso, they get their home hill decapped. With just a little bit of a lead, which is going to go to the wayside, they have to figure out where their next hill rotation is going to be too.
Now you see Fearzly up top looking over 2-to-1 hill advantage in favor of the Pittsburgh Knights. They are up 180 now, getting up to 190. Waiting 2 teams, 2 different pushes, 2 different 2v2s around the map. But the Pittsburgh Knights have a definitive advantage on the opposite side of the map, if you ask me. Raver with this 90-degree angle, the more damage he adds out, the better it is. He might be able to push up here to help out a little bit more, get himself into a better, more advantageous position to Lancer out for his teammate. Monkyz will get that first shot, and then Rody strafe off to the side. Raver on the flank gets the secondary down. Beautiful rotation in. What a collapse. What a pincer movement. Pittsburgh Knights, picture perfect when it counts. They go up 2-to-1.
And when they have that opportunity to play defense, you see them backtracking, making sure to kind of pepper their enemy team as every single inch they try to take away. And that's where you see the target selection. He made sure that Nero, even though he got behind the cover, bait and switch with his teammate, that was the guy he continuously put shots on and didn't let out of his line of sight. And that play right there, Raver taking the focus off his 2 teammates that were pushing in while simultaneously putting damage. That's exactly the type of play you want on your team, no matter who is making the play.
Now we will see what the answer from Team Queso may be, as they're going to have to come back off a respawn in this next round. And then they've got to maybe be a little bit deflated. They played very well for such a long time in that round, only to fall to the wayside. Once again, another 1v1 breaking out at the B hill, 3v3 opposite side.
I'm down!
Oh, that's consecutive fights lost by Dezonide in the 1v1 against Nero. So that's somebody you can definitely trust across the map, and you can kind of see it in the mini-map. Everybody of Team Queso just putting their 10 toes down and locking their position in place.
See what they do here, as again the 2-to-1 hill advantage will go over in favor of Team Queso, and this next rotation from the side of the Pittsburgh Knights will be pretty huge for their momentum in this round, as they're going to send Dezo once again in the 1v1 toward the B hill. Shot on by Nero with the Boltok. Misses a second, now a third. Will get tagged up a little bit with a few pellets, trying to play ring around the rosy. With that big back A, that was a big body shot. Shot her flash dang over the top. Will get that shot on. One more big shot from Dezo wins, and that'll be a big 1v1 win by Dezonide to get the B hill back in his favor.
It's only a matter of time before Dezo picks up one of them big W's. Raver's trying to pick up some W's of his own, down onto Cristalize, trying to backtrack, playing his right hand as safe as possible. Great flash to go ahead and get Fearzly back into the mix. It's a 3v3 on this side of the map. Dezonide versus Nero yet again here. The battle continues with Dezonide winning yet another big one, and that's going to put pressure on the rest of Team Queso, feeling like they have to go, especially when he steps into that hill.
Trying to get into this position here. Fearzly waits for the wrap shot. Doesn't get the down, though. And now Raver pushes up. Big body shot there. 1v1 here at the A-hill. That player has to push in. It's going to be Jaled having to get inside the C-hill. He's going to be tagged up from the opposite side here. 1v1 here at the home hill of Team Queso. Body shot out by Dezo. Has to be able to live another one. Gets the shot over the top for the down and the out. A-hill still under contestation, but the Pittsburgh Knights have won their home and still have the B-hill well under their control.
You said 2-to-1 hill control, 40+ point lead and counting for the Pittsburgh Knights. So Team Queso doesn't have a lot of time left before they have to not only get one neutralization but two. For now, one is going to be good enough, but every single second they wait makes it where they're going to need two at the end of the day. And in a few short seconds here, as they continue to rack up the point, they're going to need this triple neutralization call. And Team Queso have to play perfect from here on out.
They cannot make any more mistakes in the waning few moments of this round. Here comes their last attempt at a push. Flash grenades are out. Dezonide going for a breakthrough over at the A-hill. They've gotten it down, and now they have a 1v1 here at B, just in case they want to solidify this, but they still won C. So no matter what happens everywhere else in the world on this map, they will come away with a round 4 victory, and they will be up 3-1.
This is where I got to ask you, did we see a big weapon here?
I would hope so. I think Queso needs to understand they've got to play something. Something has to go down to try to give them something to fight over, some kind of advantageous positioning. They move over to the opposite side of the map, so they might have the advantage there at the tank, so this might be your best bet to put down something over there.
I already see Instin's going to pick up insta-kill potential. Ooh, shock grenade. That only surprised me a little bit, but at the same time, it doesn't, because you can see by putting that shock grenade, they're continuing into that team-oriented gameplay. Team Queso, they're trying to block off some roots themselves, upgrading that shock grenade, keeping the Boltok in play for that headshot potential and maximum damage at a distance.
This is going to be awesome.
Coming out of respawn here, 2-2 on the map. It looks like the Pittsburgh Knights are going to send 2 to play over toward E, 2 to play at their home hill. Meanwhile, Team Queso, they're going to send 3 to the mid-neutral, and they are going to be set up and ready to go here momentarily. Flash is going to go out. Cristalize is going to get pressured out. Boltok shots in, hits a big headshot there, and looks like we're a double bounce. Maybe one more shot onto Dezonide, but the flash comes through, gets the stun, and the final shot is in and through and true. Pittsburgh Knights will have the early 2-to-1 hill advantage, and shots over the top by Fearzly, gets that down at the bottom and evens it up. It's a 2v2.
Unfortunately, Raver does go down, so these two players are actually going to have to backtrack. That's because of the reinforcements that side of the map, and you can see Monkyz with that shock grenade blocking the exit. Nobody's going to get the break. The Knights take and steal that round away in 45 seconds with multiple players left alive. And talk about perfection going to be needed now or never. Team Queso down 0-2, backs up against the wall. 4-1 round count in map number 3. Woo, Colin. This is where they separate the men from the boys.
Oh, without a doubt, Retro Lancer placed down by the side of the Pittsburgh Knights. Opposite end of things. There it is. Team Queso have decided they got to put down a power weapon. They got to try to change this fight up. It's going to be 4-1 with that drumstick at the tank. About to be fought over entirely by those squads.
You're warriors.
See, Pittsburgh Knights sending at least 3-4 players over. One of them is going to slowly but surely be watching the middle, trying to kind of count the numbers. You see the overextension, so that's going to give him that man advantage. Every single weapon's in hands of Jaled on the other side of the map. Cristalize is going to go down. Nero late to join the fray with that grenade, and it's going to come up a little bit short, but it's not going to come up short with those shots onto Monkyz. Dezonide, though, and one more there towards the backside, so that hill is going to go over towards Pittsburgh Knights, already a 2-1, along with the power weapon, and Jaled's still on the other side of the map by himself.
See what they do is Raver is going to be here alongside of Dezo, taking over this F hill, holding onto their home as well. It looks like the side of the Knights will be happy with the 2-2 split here. Drumstick in the hands of Raver. I'm not giving that up, by the way, Jacob.
I hope not.
I'm going to keep that alive until somebody yells at me. And if goalie tells me to stop, I'm going to stop because he's the voice of God.
The only way I'm stopping is until DQ brings back the Blizzard, so.
I listen to the voice of God long before I listen to Dairy Queen. I'm sorry, it's just a fact of the matter. Shot over the top, won't be able to find one. We're gonna see what they get though. Raver gets the first headshot, bouncing up. Shot over the top, won't be able to get the first shot on for the down, but does get the second. Now the other two players from the side of Queso caught out behind these pillars, and it looks like the Knights, they are solidifying kill after kill and are gonna be getting ever so close to a triple cap domination.
Ay, Dios mío, Colin. They're just left, right, everywhere you want to be and more. Nero, the sub, the saving hope of this round, getting the decap and the elimination onto Raver. You see his teammates fresh off of respawn, trying to take the 2v1 onto Dezonide here. He's doing a good job, and he gets one. He at least got one to flatline a player. And now we're going to switch on forward this fight where they have a 2v2 where defense is a must.
Nero will have to roll back away from that spot. He's going to go down. A teammate right in the area might be able to go in for the revive, but he's going to throw out a flash to try to prevent anybody from pushing up for this shotgun chunk. And now you see them pushing back in. Problems will get lanced out. Monkyz will finally roll into the spot, get the shot, get the down, get the kill. They continue to secure the hill, up over 200 points. They are so very close to winning this 5-1.
Cristalize needs to know there's going to be players spawning behind him, so it's about time that you buy your team here. Any kill is going to be bonus, and there's going to be one onto Monkyz. He's going to get out, forcing some players to try to backtrack into him, but their hills need to be decapped. All players of Team Queso are on the same side of the map. No one's going to be able to get in. Even if they do, they're going to be met by Fearzly, as it's only 5 short seconds away. The Pittsburgh Knights are going to cruise to a 3-0 victory over Team Queso and cement themselves as the Latin American team to beat.
Without a doubt, still the kings of LATAM, the Pittsburgh Knights. They go a sweep, and they brought out the broomsticks tonight. Pure perfection out of them. A 3-0, as you stated. Team Queso will fall, and I mean, the Knights, to me, that is when they're scariest, is when the Knights are able to play that style, that slow, methodical, pick-you-apart style, where they're able to use teamwork, team fire, to keep you off balance, to keep you on the back foot, to keep you away from your teammates, because that is what has won them so many matches before, and it's what will continue to win them matches in the future.
Yep. See just kind of how their strategy laid out, and honestly, they're just taking the same type of role that we saw today. Rise, KCP, Pittsburgh Knights, just showing exactly what teamwork is made of. They're getting aggressive when they have to. In most moments, honestly, that's the way Gears of War is played. But it's those moments where they choose to back up and Lancer players out, get those downs, and then solidify the eliminations that really cement themselves and separate themselves from the rest of the pack.
They've done a fantastic job here as well. I mean, if you take a look, the 1Vs, we talked about how we thought maybe Dezonide, might have been getting a little frustrated because Dezo was losing consistent 1Vs at B. I actually applaud them for understanding their positioning around the map and being able to put out the best possible shots to try to stay alive in different situations. Also, again, just the team fire. You saw how they slowly crept up on that back pillar, that back cover, to get those kills, to get those downs, secure them one after the next. I really do. I applaud them tonight. This was probably one of their best outings I've ever seen against the team who is very gamey. The Team Queso squad is nobody to slouch at.
And you can see a lot of the replays, or at least the earlier ones, they're funneling these players of Team Queso. They're taking away every single option to where they have to, in a way, 50-50 it. Go through those narrow corridors, hope for flash hits, and hope you land enough damage to get it down. And for PK, even if they lose that first line of defense, like we've been saying, they backtrack, they Lancer, they make it to where they just kind of waste the smoke. And then when push comes to shove, Raver just does exactly that. He just puts on a show anytime that he wants.
Without a doubt, and there you see it one final time for all of you at home. The Pittsburgh Knights, they reign supreme over Team Queso, 3-0. Dominant in all three matchups as well. 5-1 on the Escalation, their most dominant mode by far over them. 6-3 and 300-118 there on map 1. Ritual control, even with the reset. They only gave up 1 point after the reset of the matchup. So, I mean, it was just a stagnant setting for the Team Queso side. Came out pretty lifeless in that secondary reset and then just never found enough rhythm in maps 2 or 3 to fight back, but for so long. The Knights, to me, a bravo, applaud to them. Really want to see them continue forward in that same situation. I think they've done a fantastic job up to this point, but it is only day 2 of the Pro League. They've got plenty of matches ahead of them before that next major. So like you said, you want to see the likes of the Pioneers, like the likes of Rise, Pittsburgh Knights. You might even throw E United in there. Need to take care of business week in and week out. Until you come up against one of those other teams that we just named, you have to burn people. You have to make them regret ever being in the lobby against you. Because if you do not, that's just another opening for somebody to watch that VOD, figure out your weaknesses. If you look strong every week, no weaknesses to pick on. You start showing the cracks in the armor, that's when people start to pick you apart.
You kind of hit the nail on the head. And even if you do show those weaknesses, you have to make sure throughout the week, every single second, that you're kind of working on those weaknesses. You figure out a way to turn those weaknesses into some sort of strength at the end of the day.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we had plenty of opportunity for a play of the day for the eSwap X Pro Controller play of the day presented by Thrustmaster, but it will go to the one, the only of Xyz on Harbor with a torque bow. He gets not 1, not 2, even through the rope. That one's still one of the best shots I may have ever seen onto Sulfus. He gets 3, now 4. Oh boy, he's coming back for even more after the misroll. He'll take up this position and find that last shot. It is an incredible play, and Jacob, the only way I can break this down is precision, accuracy, and pinpoint timing on the rev. I know there's a lot of OG Gears players with the torque that would be proud of this kind of play.
Yeah, it's just the bind fires. Honestly, the teamwork as well. Even though you don't really see it in the play, the communication to let Avexis know every single target is at, the spots on multiple players, is very, very crucial. And Rise just proving, yeah, teamwork just makes the dream work. And Avexis just proven he is looking for an MVP season.
Oh, without a doubt. That's one of my favorites, where he's waiting for that player to take the pillar. He knows what the play is. Waits for him to slide right into that hip fire shot. Beautiful job, Alexis, to get our eSwap X Pro Controller play of the day presented by Thrustmaster. It was a fantastic day of Gears Pro League from start to finish. And I think we have a couple of close games, but for the most part, our main station was beatdowns left, right, and center. I believe we had all solidified 3-0s here on the main station, but there on the side station, we were treated over to that map 5, that beautiful setup between E United and Abuelos. So shout out to them for putting on such a performance to even take us that far. That bad boy even went down to round 11 in map 5, so kudos to them. Unbelievable day of Gears Esports.
Unbelievable indeed. And honestly, I might have to have a conversation with Abuelos y sus nietos, because I might have to bring him on over to Funky Bunch. You might see the logo for this last NEC. Who knows?
You got a skin in the game.
Anything's
you got
possible.
a skin in the game.
I do. And you know what I'm saying? Anything is definitely possible.
I tell people all the time, like even on my stream, if I rock that skin, like if I switch over to it, I will never switch off of the TCA Lancer just because somebody gave me the opportunity to be a part of the Coalition Army, and I will never I will always hope they never regret that decision. But if I ever change my Nasher over to the Funky Monkey, I'm like, it's Jacob's skin. Like, they should have just said it. They should have just called it the MVPR skin set and get it out the way.
I mean, I agree with you. You ain't gonna hear no complaints over from this side, just like you hear no complaints from the Pittsburgh Knights, their 3-0 victory. You don't hear nothing other than GGs. And that's what I like. A lot of these guys, great sports, and especially, these Latin American teams that, they make sure that they know that that passion is always there. And that's why I kind of love the fans and everything that they kind of join in. They just kind of let their passion just let loose. And we need that as a community now more than ever.
Without a doubt, you've always got to be showing your love, showing your passion, showing your desire to make the greatest of every moment you have in Gears Esports. Let's take a look at our standings after day number 2 from Gears Esports. The Pioneers, Knights, and Rise sit atop the mountain at 2-0. Everybody else, though, seems to be falling to the wayside as 4 through 7. You kind of have this real misshapen league as you get 1-1 everywhere. And then, of course, 8, 9, and 10, all 0-2, all looking for a win. Jacob, this is going to get real dicey and real spicy because, oh boy, howdy, there's a couple of teams waiting in the wings, just practicing week in and week out down there in the challengers to just take and chomp at the bit at these pro league teams. So these guys better start whipping themselves into shape. They want to stay here.
I mean, I like the way you said it because we Casa de Papel, we got Abuelos y Sus Nietos. Welcome to the Pro League. Even though some of you have been here before, if you kind of sleep, Colin, there's going to be a team, there's going to be a couple players that are just waiting like the Grinch to steal away your Christmas.
Without a doubt, looking to try to play spoiler alert for everybody, take away their Pro League spot. Let's take a look at who's going to be playing next Tuesday here on twitch.tv/Xbox for Gears Esports Pro League. You're going to start the day off with a double helping of Rebel and Abuelos, followed up by, with Rise and Hive over there on the side station. Team Queso versus Fury 1 and the Pioneers versus Casa de Papel in the middle of that sandwich. And the game of the night, going to be the Pittsburgh Knights versus E United. That's going to be a good one. And no way you can miss that one. E United looking to try to round into form. Knights looking to continue to dominate the sector. Jacob, any other games you got your guys on Tuesday?
I mean, I'm a little bit interested in the Team Queso versus Fury 1. You see how great Team Queso is doing. Is Sleeafer going to fix his issues? Find out next on the next Gears Pro League. Now, all jokes aside, that's definitely the kind of, I wouldn't call it the main event too, the co-main event, but it's definitely the one leading up to it, rightfully so, because both of these teams have been earning at least a little of a respect week after week, kind of upping their aggressive game. But at the same time, a lot of these teams are trying their hardest to kind of include a lot of teamwork into that play. It's not going to be easy, but honestly, that's why it is a championship. Nobody ever said winning one of those was easy.
It's never going to be easy. Nothing in life worth having will ever come easy. I believe you all can trust me on that. Nothing in my life I've ever achieved ever came easy, and neither will winning a championship here in Gears Esports. One of the hardest games to just break into, and much harder to get to the top of that mountain and look down and around at everybody else that might be trying to climb up and take that spot.
Amen.
Just like tomorrow night, you're going to see who might be able to take the crown for the E-Days here on Thursday. It's going to be a fantastic tournament. We always have 8 of the best teams competing there at twitch.tv/UMG Gaming for E-Days. But for Jacob MVPR, I am Colin the Crow Clark. We appreciate you for joining us for Pro League night number 2. We hope to see you tomorrow night and every night for Gears Esports.